say anything, or the one thing, how difficult they are in situation. When you're available with a controlled environment and you won't be able to express anything, that is, I think, you are going to be under a deep depression, right? So for expressing your feelings, your emotions, whatever the psychological stress, the emotional stress you're going through, language plays a very imperative role in it. So the human existence is inevitable without your communication. So here we are going to discuss about your linguistic skills, your language. Okay, what sort of role then language plays in our lives, right? So language is commonly defined as simply as a mean of communication. Language kya hai ji? It is a mean of communication. But if it is defined so, there will be no difference between human communication and animal communication. Okay, the reason is because both animals and humans do have means to communicate. All right, yes, the language for, there is a different language for the expression of the feeling for the humans, and the different one for you animals, or for the other ways they're available with. So every living thing, they have a mode of communication for expressing their feelings, that is your language. अब मुझे ये नहीं पता कि आपने अपने जो है ये कोर्स कोड, इसमें आपने कितना पढ़ा हुआ है. Okay, so to be more specific, language है क्या? A language can be defined as an arbitrary system of creative vocal symbols used as a mean of communication among human beings. ये ऐसा है जहां आप इशारे लगाकर बात कर सकते हैं, just to express our feelings, okay? And it is a very effective mean of communication between or among the human beings. This is called your language. So let us see what is meant by arbitrary system, vocal symbol, creative and means of communication as the characteristics or properties of the human language. अब आपके पास एक वहां पर question आएगा in your assignment, that what are the characteristics of a language? Okay, so the first characteristics is that language should be arbitrary. It is an arbitrary system, means directive system. Vocal symbols, obviously you are using your vocal cords. मैं बोल रही हूँ, मैं बात कर रही हूँ, तो मेरे vocal cords move कर रहे हैं, तो मैं अपनी आवाज produce कर पा रही हूँ. Then it should be, there is a creativity over here. Every time when you're communicating to someone, okay, depending upon the type of relationship you are holding with that person, and depending upon different situations you are going through, okay, there is a mode of creativity inside you. You have to know, and you have to know, and you have to understand, and you are very specific about it, that how you are going to create an impression upon someone. So when you are trying to communicate with different people, definitely there is creativity inside you. So when you're communicating with someone, there is always a creativity inside you. Okay, when you are creative, when you are responding to different people in different situations. Okay, so all these are the effective tools for language and communication. So language is arbitrary. अब मैं बताऊं what is arbitrary. मैंने पहला characteristics इसका बताया language का, that is arbitrary. A language is arbitrary because the relationship between a vocal symbol in the sense of linguistics and the entity, ठीक है, state, event or action of the vocal symbol cannot be proved logically. समझ आ गई? मैंने अभी आपको बताया कि आपने जैसे if you are having the sad feelings, even though जब आप बात भी कर रहे हैं, okay, आपकी feelings और emotions आपके ऐसे आप express कर पाते हैं. So this is called, so you have some sort of a grief sound in there, you have a hoarse voice like that, okay, आपकी आवाज भारी हो जाती है. So this is all the arbitrary system. Okay, when you're excited, you have a different, there's a chirping noise in you, okay, and there is excitement in your voice, okay, and anybody can judge or figure out easily. So language is arbitrary. Okay, ma'am, I'm just going to rush over your session because we have already wasted a lot of time because of this, facing this technical issue in your system. Okay, so considering language is a vocal symbol. Considering a language as a construction of vocal symbol, we actually want to distinguish oral from the written language. Obviously, there's a hell of a difference between oral and the written communication. A language is original spoken vocal symbols. In other words, we can say that spoken language is the origin of language. Right? See the fact. I'm not going to read out the facts now. On the other hand, the written language is the best thought of a written representation of a language. One of the difference in characteristics between oral and written language is that when the written language tends to be perspective, okay, and the spoken language is not perspective. Obviously, when you are going to write down or jot down something, obviously you are coming up with the very logical thoughts, your clear idea, you have a clear perception what you're going to write down, and you have to follow a particular sequence of events in it. There should be a coherence and cohesion in it. Now the question will strike into your mind, what is coherence and what is cohesion? Okay, so cohesion or coherence का मतलब ये होता है, coherence mean how well versed you are, okay, how well versed you are when you are relating, okay, the events with each other, right? Okay, and how specific you are in producing a relevant content. So producing the relevancy of the content is called coherence, okay, and cohesion mean how well versed you are in building up the chain connectionship in producing the sequence of events. Like if I've assigned you a task that you have to write on a visit to the museum, right? So you are just going to start the essay in a way, okay, we wake up early in the morning with this and this time, later we just got ready, we reached Lahore by this time, and then we saw this and this. So what you are going to do, there is a cohesion, right? So when you are transiting from one paragraph to another paragraph, or when you are moving from one sequence, from one event to another, you are building up a sequence and you are building a chain connection in between it. So when you are building a relation, okay, you are building a chain connection or the relation between all these paragraph and the sequences of the events. This is called cohesion, right? Coherence mean कि वो कितना relevant content produce कर रही हैं आप. ये नहीं कि if I have assigned you task for visiting somewhere और आपने वहां पर जो है वो add up कर दिया है, you are in a state of depression, और वहां पर जो भी आप लिख रही हैं, okay, like आपने bomb blast की activity को quote कर दिया है, so this is completely out of the context. ठीक है? So first of all, you just need to be very much specific and objective about it, what you are supposed to write about it. Okay. Now language is creative. Obviously, language here, so there should be creativity in it. If there is no creativity, it means that there is no language at all. Okay, so we are having, whenever we are going to, when we're dealing with someone, we are different in expressing our emotions and your feelings. So every time we are going through a state of, we are going under, you can say, a continuous phase of creativity. So like, I eat rice, you eat bread. The goats eat, okay, the goats eat bread and cheese. Have you ever created or heard this possible sentence before? No, they eat grass. So I eat rice, you eat bread, the goats eat cheese, and they eat grass. So all these are the examples. Okay, there is a creativity in it. ये नहीं कि creativity करने के लिए आप, you just trying to quote wrong examples over there. Indeed, we create and heard new sentences in our language all the time in our everyday communication. Even we may have created and heard a sentence that had never been spoken or heard before, but we did not realize it. This is because the language is creative. वो ये बात बता रहा है कि sometimes हम ऐसे, we have been encountering with such phrases or sentences, and we have been encountering with certain words, we don't even know the meanings about it. So why it is happening with us? Because every time we are learning something and we are modifying ourselves, we have been encountering ourselves with the new words, they're adding up into the vocabulary. So language is creativity. It is all about creativity. So language is a mean of communication. Obviously, language kya hai? It is a mean of communication for us. Language is only one among other means of communication, but it is the most perfect mean of communication processed by the human beings. Obviously, the most processed way of communication, that is language. सबसे जो process way है, यानी कि अपनी feelings को इजहार करने का जो सबसे refined system है, that is your language, बात करने का system है. not the sign language. इशारों से आप वो बात express नहीं कर सकते जो आपको बोल कर आएगी, right? So the most processed way of communication, that is your language. The use of a language as a mean of communication is what distinguishes animal communication from the communication among the human beings. We've already discussed about it. In most societies, our culture, there are fables. Fables कहते हैं stories को. Fables means the stories. Okay, there are fables, legends, where we are told that animals do play speaking role, not only among themselves but also with the human beings. But can the fables or the legends provide evidence that animals do speak and have language? While human beings communicate with the language, it is believed that animals simply communicate with their instincts. But this belief have not been proved empirically. Empirically कहते हैं experimentally. ठीक है, उसने कहा जी कि अभी तक जो है ना, जो जितने भी आपके एनिमल्स हैं, ठीक है, they have driven an instinct. Instinct कहते हैं फितरत. उनकी instinct में शामिल है that they can speak and they do have an ability just to express their feelings. No doubt they cannot speak, लेकिन जैसे जैसे वो different आवाजें निकालती हैं, that is all their way of communication. Okay, but experimentally इसको कितना को भी prove किया गया है, वो अभी verify नहीं हुआ. So it means that it is under the state of hypothesis or assumption only, but empirically or experimentally we are not available with the proofs still yet or by now, right? So now what is linguistics so far? Just coming up all the points we have discussed so far. कि language है क्या? You need to be creative. It is an arbitrary system. It is a vocal system. We need to be very much expressive about it. Okay, it is an effective mode of communication to express our feelings, our thoughts. Okay, and it is the most processed way of communication with someone. Okay, and moreover, both humans and the animals, they do have an instinct just to speak, and they have an instinct to speak. Okay, and if they're expressing through using the different sign language. Okay, or by different showing their emotions or feelings, जो भी वो express करते हैं, and what sort of noise they are making it, that is all the way of communication. So what the linguistics is about? Language तो हमने पढ़ ली थी, language क्या होती है. Your course code is linguistics, language skills, language की skill क्या है. So learning about this language, when you are studying about this language in a typical term, in a proper, it's physiology. When we're just trying to discuss about it, it turns into a subject which is called linguistics. So linguistics is the study of language. समझ आई? ठीक है. Linguistics क्या है? जब हम language को पढ़ते हैं, this is called linguistics. The subject matter of the linguistic is language. Okay. Traditionally, linguistics studies a language as a formal system consisting of 4 main branches known as microlinguistics. इसकी 4 main branches होती हैं, ठीक है, और हम इसको microlinguistics कहते हैं. Beside the linguistic studies, which are supposed as the interdisciplinary field of studies that identify, investigate, and offer solutions to language-related real-life problems, called macrolinguistics or applied linguistics. Okay, now it tells you the language. It is an interdisciplinary field of studies. जो interdisciplinary, इसे discipline से ही एक नई field जो है वो आपके पास originate होती है, जिसमें आप क्या करते हैं when you are trying to discuss about the real life problems. Okay, this is called macrolinguistics or applied linguistics. And there are also some other linguistic branches. Okay, अब आपके पास 3 different fields आपके पास आ गई हैं. Number 1 is the macrolinguistics and number 2 is micro. Number 1 is macro and number 2 is micro. Okay, micro में क्या है जी? जिसमें फोनोलॉजी है, यानी कि साउंड्स कैसे बनाती हैं. मॉर्फोलॉजी क्या है? सिंटेक्स किसे कहते हैं? सिंटेक्स कहते हैं सेंटेंस को बनाना. देन सोशियो मॉर्फोलॉजी क्या है? मॉर्फोलॉजी मीन 1 by 1 पढ़ते हैं. फिनोलॉजी मीन कि उसका साउंड्स कैसे प्रोड्यूस होंगे, हाउ द वर्ड्स आर प्रोड्यूसिंग द साउंड्स. मॉर्फोलॉजी मीन हाउ वी आर गोइंग टू प्रोड्यूस द डिफरेंट वर्ड्स. लाइक देयर इज अ वर्ड, you can say earnest. ठीक है, like you can say, okay, linguistics ही word है हमारे पास. Okay, ये आपके पास word है characteristics. Okay, you think it is a one word? Yes, it is. So character is one word and the stick is another word. So this is called morpheme. When different small words, one small unit of a word is called a morpheme. So when different small words they join together to make one big word, this is called this is called a proper word. Okay, when different small words, like मैं आपको एग्जांपल देती हूँ, जैसे एक वर्ड है आपके पास ह्यूमन, उसमें आपके पास क्या है, ह्यू में एच यू ह्यू एम ए एन मैन, ह्यूमन. Okay, so hue is another morpheme and man is in different forming. When these two morphemes they join together, they form one specific word. This is called this is now called a big word, big one word. So the study of the morphology of such words, this is called morphology. The study of the morphemes of such words. ठीक है, morpheme कहते हैं छोटे unit को. When you are just dividing one word into basic small units, and when these small units they join together, they form one big word. So the study of the morphemes of these words is called morphology. Phonology comes from the words phonetics. Phonetics means sound. So the study of the different sounds. Okay, sounds mean the different words produce different sound. This is called phonology. Like characteristics. Okay, like when P and H, when we join together, they used to produce a sound F. Okay, like elephant, we are going to say elephant, right? Then sometimes C and Z, we can use the word C की जगह हम Z use कर लेते हैं और Z की जगह C use कर लेते हैं, but they all goes with the same sound. So this is called phonology. Then morphology. Then syntax mean how different words they join together to form one big sentence. Okay, the different type of sentences, like you can say compound sentences, complex compound sentences. Okay, and we're using different type of interjections and conjunctions. Like I would say that I woke up here today very late. Okay, then comma, and then I rushed to the washroom. Okay, again comma. After after saying the morning prayers, I just went out for a walk. So what I'm trying to do, ठीक है, मैंने वहाँ क्या कहा, after offering the morning prayers, okay, and later I went out this and this. When I'm just trying to join these different ideas into one single sentence, and I'm just trying to give a pause in a single sentence, like I'm just trying to break up these sentences like by using the commas, and when I'm just trying to join another concept with it, I'm using and. So when I'm using the and over here, this is called conjunctions. जब आपको एक लाइन से दूसरी तरफ कॉन्सेप्ट दूसरी में जाना पड़े और आप उसको ज्वाइन करते हैं, इसे आप conjunctions कहते हैं, right? So semantics क्या है? Semantics is all about studying of this language, okay, and this proper grammar, including your sound. This is all. So semantics is basically study of your linguistics. This is called semantics. This is another advanced phase of your language, right? Now, what is a macro linguistics? अब language में इसमें sociolinguistic है, psycholinguistics है, neurolinguistics है, anthropological है, and language acquisitions. Now I'm going to tell you like social linguistics, that how people are communicating with each other. Socially, they are intermingling with each other, is called social linguistics. Then psycho mean how they're dealing with psychological factors in the linguistics. Neuro mean how they're treating with their nerves. And anthropology mean anthropologists kaun hote, the one who study the human behavior and their sciences. Okay, so language acquisition mean how the language is playing different roles and in dealing with the people day-to-day life and their activities. So talking about language in human in general, that is called language acquisition. Furthermore, we will mainly discuss about microlinguistics, which are related to pure language studies, such as phonology, morphology, मैंने अभी बताया था, syntax and semantics. Phonology, the study of speech, sound, and their patterns. Morphology, the study of words and the word formation, मैंने अभी बताया था. Single unit word को क्या कहते हैं? Morpheme. और उसको जब आप इकट्ठा करके स्टडी फील्ड में पढ़ेंगे उसे मॉर्फोलॉजी कहेंगे. सेंटेक्स मीन द स्टडी ऑफ सेंटेंस स्ट्रक्चर, जिसमें आप कॉम्प्लेक्स कंपाउंड सेंटेंसेस बनाते हैं, कंपाउंड सेंटेंसेस यू आर मेकिंग इट एंड मेनी मोर. एंड सेमांटिक्स मीन द स्टडी ऑफ द मीनिंग्स. नाउ व्हाट इज द मीडियम? ओके, नाउ व्हेन यू हैव अ लैंग्वेज देयर शुड बी अ वे ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन, राइट? ये आपकी हैं, ये दिस इज योर सेकंड क्वेश्चन स्टार्टेड इन योर बुक ऑफ योर फर्स्ट चैप्टर, दैट व्हाट आर द कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ लैंग्वेज. Difference अभी हमने कर लिया, difference between language and non-linguistic communication. This is your second question, that is about the components of linguistic communication. So the first component क्या था? That first we have understood what the language is all about. Now the second one is, the second component is what is your medium. Okay, A language is described as an abstraction based on the linguistics behavior of its users. Wait, hold on. There is no message from the group. Am I audible to everyone? No question from your side, boys and girls. Are you listening? Oh my goodness, nobody's speaking. I mean to say, nobody's even typing. Are you sleeping, everyone? I'm going, no, ma'am. Wow. No, 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 no. Wow. Why are you not listening? Umme Kalsoom. Listening completely. So, are you understanding? I just look at the time, it's 5:16 now, and I didn't ask you any single question. So, are you getting what I'm just trying to understand you? समझ आ रही ना भाई? All right. Okay, 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 okay. Kindly, can you speak slow a bit? Okay, ji. Slow a bit. Okay. Better let me correct you. Ma'am, could you please speak a bit slow? Right? Slow a bit नहीं कहते. Right? All right, bete. Noted. Okay. I'm just trying to keep my pace a bit slower. Right? So now what is medium? A language is described as an abstraction based on linguistics behavior of its user. So now I already told you that what were the characteristics of the language. It was that a language is having, it is an arbitrary system. I told you what is arbitration, giving the directions. Okay, abhi humne padha tha. Language is a vocal system and it is a creative. We have just discussed I think 10 minutes ago about the characteristics of the language. Now, in the second language, the first question in the second language, sorry, and the second this question, they both are, uh, they're in connection with each other, right? ये सारा content घूम फिर के आगे पीछे ही आता है, okay? So, in this question, he said that a language is described as an abstraction based on the linguistic behavior of its user. Like I told you, okay? The way we are expressing our feelings and we have put into certain situation, our body language, it responds differently. So this is all it is showing you. That's what he has given you a clear message that it is an abstraction based upon the behavior of its user. Okay. So let's come to the next point. All normal children of all races learn to speak the language of the community. Okay, so speech has often been seen as the primary medium of language. Obviously, the people who are living in Sindh, they do have the different language. The one who living in Punjab, they do have the different accent. So it varies from people to people. It all depends upon the community and the culture you belong to. Okay, so language plays a very important role. Okay, and in expressing your feelings. Okay, and the other thing which we have learned so far, it also depicts to which community and the culture you belong to. Okay, it just reflects when you are communicating to someone. The abstract system, which is language, can also be realized as writing. Okay, now he tells that not only your क्या कहते हैं, it depicts from your behavior, the situation you are going through, but sometimes through your writing, it also express your feelings. Okay, it also shows the state of in what state of mind you are. Okay, however, all the speech and writing have much in common. They are not being adequated, sorry, they are not being equated or hierarchically ordered. Okay, now look at this word hierarchically. What is hierarchical? Hierarchical order कहते हैं पुष्टदार पुष्ट, ओके, नस्लदार नस्ल, ओके, इसे कहते हैं hierarchical order. तो वो कहते हैं यहाँ पर they are not in the synchronization of equity. ठीक है, ये इक्वेटेरियल जो पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू यानी कि फ्रॉम north pole to south pole, या आप कह रहे हैं कि they are not in a mode of building some sort of equation with each other, or they are following certain sort of a sequence over here. So although the speech and writing, they have much in common, they are not being equated, right? देखो कोई hierarchical model हम follow नहीं कर रहे हैं कि फलाने ने language में ये कहा था so we have to follow the same order. Okay, language is all about creativity. I told you, every time we have been I've been encountering ourselves with different sort of words. So what is the connection between the language and its medium? I told you that medium is a very important component of linguistics or your language skills. So the language abstraction, okay, जो आपका है language जो abstraction है, it is further divided into two different types, right? Number mediums, these are the concrete आपके पास है, एक आप speech से इजहार कर सकती हैं, and the other one is your writing. Okay, the diagram indicates that although speech and writing or they are in theory distinct, they can and do influence each other. A simple example of this is that pronunciation is often affected by spellings, obviously. Okay, उसने कहा ये basically नहीं है, okay, कि ये कोई hierarchical model नहीं है. The way we speak, and sometimes, you know, I told you that the language skills, it is, you know, when different type of words, they give us different type of sound. Sometimes spellings में आपके पास like आपके पास C और Z का sound की मैंने भी example दी थी. So we won't be able to figure out. Sometimes we get confused. Either I have to use the C or Z. And you know, there are different. There are two different school of thoughts, like the British school of thought and the American school of thought, right? तो दोनों में कहीं ना कहीं acceptable हो जाता है. तो कह रहा है वो different, जिस तरह हम spelling use करते हैं, वहाँ पर आपको जो है ये pronunciation भी better करती है. Like a word like often, okay, but you know there are certain states in UK जहाँ पर इसको लोग often भी बोलते हैं. And here in Pakistan, when we say often, sometime the people, they will utter a very loud cackle for you. They will make fun of you. Oh, you won't be able to have a command in speaking English, and you are just pronouncing this word as often, right? So the exact pronunciation of this word is often. A word like often, for example, is frequently pronounced with a T because of the influence from the written medium. Here in Pakistan, what we are doing, we make the T silent and pronounce it as often. Okay. So the main difference between speech and writing, well, that is not very much important for you, right? So you have to understand the basic characteristics of the language, which we have discussed, and then we have we have to learn about the difference between linguistics and non-linguistic communication. Linguistics कौन सी है? Like when you're using the language of the sign and a symbol. This is the non-linguistic communication. Linguistics में क्या है? When we are freedom to express our feelings and emotion, and is the most processed way of communication, that is your language. And we have discussed all about our the components of the language. Okay, एक चीज मैं बताऊंगी, मीडियम ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन बहुत है, then who are the participants, and एक और आपके पास component होगा, the channel you are communicating through. Okay, and moreover, मैं आपको वैसे बता देती हूँ, I'm just going to share the 4 components with you, which are mentioned in your book. Number one is your medium. Okay, to medium mean to whom you are what sort of medium depends upon the 4 factors, right? Number one is to whom you are addressing your issue. Okay, to whom you are addressing the issue mean to whom you are communicating. Okay, if he's an old person, you have to change your tone, your strategy. Okay, depending upon the relationship you are having it. If you're not in a relationship, so it all differs in every way. Okay, then comes your tone. Okay, sometimes you are aggressive, you have a different tone. When you're excited, you have a different tone. Okay, then channel of communication. Okay, sometimes you're communicating through the social media, you are expressing your emotions and feelings. Okay, and through your text messages, sometimes you get vocal. So in the medium, there are 4 different strategies, and the most striking and the basic crux of the medium is your target audience. ठीक है, target audience क्या है? To whom you are addressing the issue. Okay, so keeping all these factors in your mind, you have, first of all, you just need to find out the target audience, how far literal they are. Now, if you are going to any sort of a remote area and there you're just going to speak in English or the language they are not feasible with, do you think that is an effective mode of communication? Not at all. So the target audience, it all depends upon the situation you are going through, and the most striking factor is the proper ambience over there. Okay, so all these factors, they play a very important role in in your way of communication. Now we are just going to discuss about your 8 parts of speech. बाकी जो फर्स्ट चैप्टर है इसमें ये लैंग्वेज स्किल्स एंड कम्युनिकेशन, it's a very simple and the trivial chapter. You can go through it. If you don't have a book, do let me know. I can share the link with you. आप आंसर्स को पढ़ लें and it's going to be very easy for you, right? So the basic factor, sorry, the basic thing which I just wanted to discuss with you today, that is the parts of speech. So now you have an introductory session of your linguistics and your communication. So the parts of speech, the A parts of speech, obviously when you are in your matriculation or in your FSE or whatever, okay, and during your school level, you probably have learned about the 8 parts of these speeches. Okay, so far, any problem till yet before we proceed towards the next chapter? Give me a quick response in a minute so that I can take a pause for a minute also. Ma'am, kindly share the link of that book. ठीक है जी, मैं अभी शेयर कर देती हूँ. इंटरनेट कोई अभी आई गेस कि कोई इतनी स्पीड नहीं है. Before the ending of the session, I will share the link with you over here because I don't want any sort of interruption now, right? Because already we have wasted a lot of time and it was a very nerve-taking job, and I was just wondering that your time has been wasted. What to do? Just tell me the meaning of abstraction. Rest is clear. Muhammad Muhtashim Khan. Okay, let me tell you one thing with it. There are two meanings in English. The first one is the abstract, and the other one is the concrete. Okay, abstract means something which can only be imagined, which cannot be touched. Okay, sorry. Let me jump to the previous concept. I told you there are two type of meanings in English. First one is literal, and other one is going to be your contextual. Literal meanings are those meaning which are exactly given in the dictionary. Okay, like, and the other one is a contextual meaning, that what we have perceived after reading this word. Okay, and sorry, what we have perceived after reading these and these lines, right? Like if I'm just going to I'm going to quote an example over here. There is a, okay, you might be familiar with the word desert. Okay, desert, desert, desert. The spelling will remain the same. Okay, and now the pronunciation change. Listen to it carefully. Dessert. Okay, dessert. अब dessert कौन सा वाला हो गया? This is now it has turned into a sweet dish, something sweet, right? Then there is a desert. Desert mean a barren place, बंजर रेगिस्तान जो भी है, ठीक है. अच्छा जी, जो रेगिस्तान उसे हम कहते हैं डेजर्ट जी, ठीक है. If I say deserted, ठीक है, it was a deserted place. अब क्या होगा? It means something which is in isolation, something which is isolated and a barren place. बंजर जमीन उसे कहते हैं, ठीक है. एक रेगिस्तान हो गया, एक बंजर जमीन है, and the other one is the Swedish. Now in all these three spellings, sorry, in all these three words, the spellings remain the same. What is the difference? Through way of communication, you can understand it, but if you are just writing it in a paragraph or in a book somewhere, so now the spelling remains same, and from your context, you have perceived okay, which sort of dessert is quoted over here. Either it is of the Swedish for the deserted one or for the desert. So this type of meaning is called contextual meaning. That what you have perceived after, okay, what sort of perception you have built up in your mind by reading this and this specific word in the particular context. Literal means, like I have given you the example, ठीक है, जो मैंने बताया कि डिजर्ट का मतलब या रेगिस्तान है, ये आपके पास जो डिक्शनरी मीनिंग इसे हम कहते हैं लिटरल मीनिंग. डिफरेंट स्पीच, नो मैम, नो इशू, बट मैं लॉग इन लेट हो क्या है वो बेशक लास्ट में ही बता दें. Bisma, no need to worry, bete. We have logged in after 45 minutes because we have experiencing some sort of technical issue over here. But accent change. Okay. Spelling remain the same, but the accent change. Yes, the accent do changes, and moreover, from the context, you can understand what sort of the word, what sort of meaning is communicated by this word. ठीक है. अच्छा. तो यहाँ पर जो एक्सेंट की स्पेलिंग बेटे गलत है, ASCCENT वाला होता है. ठीक है. अच्छा. ये मैं आपको बता रही थी. So ये दानियाल हसन. Accent. I think it's correct. Spelling remains the same. Anyways, I'm not going to make any sort of correction over here. अच्छा, मैं आपने मुझसे क्या पूछा था? Abstract. So the abstraction here means the arbitration. Okay? तो आपके पास. So here abstraction आपके पास क्या है? Abstraction mean imagination. Right? So when we read about the nouns, अभी आपके पास आएगा what is abstraction. Abstraction means something which you have perceived it, something you have fascinated, something you have imagined, something which you have assumed, but you do not have right. ठीक है. Moreover, you cannot something which is not solidified. You cannot touch that thing. Something which is only can be imagined. This is called the abstraction, right? So when you are going through all this fascination process, this is called abstraction. कहाँ गए भाई? Hello. That was your 8 parts of speech. Okay? Challenging. So I hope you have understand the meaning of abstraction. So what are the 8 parts of speech? This is noun, pronoun, adjectives, verb, adverbs, conjunctions, prepositions, and interjections. These are the 8 parts of speech. What are the nouns? We know that a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. Nouns are the subject of a sentence. Okay? You know that. I'm not going to waste your time. So in the following sentence, which words are nouns? Salib loves to play 19 do. ठीक है. इसमें क्या है जी noun? Tell me. Love or play नहीं आएगा. Play is a verb over here. ठीक है. Salib is the name of the boy. So that is the noun. So no, that is not correct. Remember, a noun is a person, place, thing, or an idea. Please try again. इसमें यहाँ बाकी चीजें नहीं add करी. To the types of the nouns. ठीक है. आपके पास 2 type of nouns होते हैं. Common nouns होते हैं, the proper nouns होते हैं. ठीक है. A noun that does not name a specific person, place or a thing. जहाँ पर proper किसी जगह का नाम नहीं है, जिसे हम क्या कहते हैं? Common noun कहते हैं. And what are the proper nouns? A noun that names a specific person, place or a thing, that is called a proper noun. Like example, a dog. What kind of a dog? What breed the dog is. ठीक है. Okay, अगर आपने कहा जी वो वहाँ से the chair was being placed there. Okay, this is a common noun. But if you're calling the name of any specific city, ठीक है, if you are calling the name of any specific car, this is going to be your proper noun. मैं इसकी examples नहीं पढ़ी because I just wanted to give you an idea about it. Okay. So in the following sentence, what is the common nouns? Is it necessary just to read your examples? I'm just going through a session. ठीक है. Like आपको तो already idea होगा. Obviously ये हमारे पास एक graduation की class है, so you people are familiar with it. I'm just trying to revise all the strategies. So or do we need just to go through the examples? Can tell me. ये मेरे पास ये मास्टर्स की क्लास है कि ये वो है ग्रेजुएशन है जी? ये नहीं पता. I am only familiar with your code. It's the class of the MSc. All right. I didn't know that. Okay. So, okay. Do you think that we have to go through all these examples for understanding the nouns and the common noun, the pronouns? It's MSc Mass Communication second semester. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Do we need to go through the examples? No, ma'am. Okay. Right. Yes, examples are not necessary at this stage. Yes. So all we're just trying to recall your concepts, because I know that you all are very much familiar about all these things. This is the language and communication abilities and your skill. So we don't need to bother ourselves by digging ourselves into all these slides, right? Where is your, my goodness, parts of speech? चलिए जी, ये कहाँ चला गया? Hang on, boys and girls. And find out. Please, एक second. Please wait for a moment. I just need to logging in again into the slides. Mm. Yes, thank God. When the screen is visible to you, do let me know, right? These are the 8 parts of speech. We're done with the nouns. We have now jumped to the pronouns. Okay. Is the screen visible to you all? It's visible now. Thank you. Okay, so the next part, sorry, so the next part of speech is, the next component of the 8 parts of speech is pronouns. A pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. Just try to understand that it is a word which takes the place of a noun. Okay, example, I, me, my, you, your, he, she, mine, yourself, themselves. You know that I personal pronoun क्या होता है, ठीक है? He, she, it, जितने भी हैं ये क्या हम यूज करें, these are or he, she, जितने and it. Okay, all these all are pronouns. You, we, okay, whose, whom, anybody, anyone, any, so okay, somebody, nobody, someone, myself, he है तो himself, she है तो herself, then you है कि क्या नाम है, our है तो ourselves, okay, me into mine. So all these are the pronouns. The pronouns, it represents with whom you are interacting, to whom you are addressing, to whom you are conversing. Okay, so the way of communicate, by using the personal pronoun, it can clearly identify who the person you are addressing to. Okay, so the pronouns, it is very compulsory just to understand. Like if you are if you are just conversing with a group of people, we preferably we are using the word we. But if I'm talking about myself, we're going to use I. So ये बहुत trivial details हैं जो I'm not going to discuss over here. Okay, but still मैं साथ साथ बताती जा रही हूँ आपको. A pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. Instead of saying Erin likes to eat, you should say she likes to eat. I'm not going to read it, sorry. Now, what is the adjective? Adjectives आपको पता क्या होते हैं? It represents the quality and disquality of any noun. Okay, like I will say that I'm just giving you an example. The room was in a very dilapidated state. Okay, like the chair was torn and worn out. कि वो जो चेयर थी वो टूटी फूटी थी. Okay, the room was in dilapidated. Dilapidated कहते हैं बदहाल. Okay, या the bus was in a dilapidated state. ठीक है, या experience riding on a dilapidated bus. ठीक है, यानी कि टूटी फूटी बेचारी पुरानी सी जो है उसे कहते हैं. ठीक है, so when I use this word, ठीक है, dilapidated, it suddenly, what strikes to my mind, it means that it was not in a good condition. So this is called the adjective. Like you can say there was a tall oak tree. ठीक है, sorry, oak tree नहीं होते. There was a tall conifer tree. ठीक है, conifer का एक बड़ा अच्छा ट्री था या पाइन ट्री था. ठीक है, तो उसमें टॉल क्या है? टॉल इज एडजेक्टिव ओवर हियर बिकॉज इट शोज द क्वालिटी. या यू कैन से शी इज अ स्किनी गर्ल. सो स्किनी ओवर हियर इज एन एडजेक्टिव because it shows her the quality. Okay, adjective is the word that describes a noun or a pronoun. It tells what kind, how many or which one. वैसे ये भी है, लेकिन बेसिकली क्या होती है हमारे पास एडजेक्टिव, इट शोज द क्वालिटी एंड डिसक्वालिटी ऑफ अ नाउन. जो इसने कॉम्प्लेक्स करके बताया काइंड एंड हाउ मेनी एंड व्हिच वन, that is not a very logical answer for it. ठीक है, so that's why I've given you the examples at my own, right? Sorry, on my own. yes, ये देखिए यहाँ पर जैसे एग्जांपल में दे रहा है, Aaron has blonde hair. ठीक है, तो blonde क्या है यहाँ पर? That is an adjective. ठीक है, and one thing more I would like to share with you students, never use the word hairs. If it is a single hair or you got lot of hair, the plural of hair is always hair. Okay, like I would say I got curly hair. I will never say I got curly hairs. ठीक है, so adjective and adjective is a word that describes a noun or pronoun. It tells what kind, how many, or which one. Instead of using the word kind, how many, or which one, you can replace it. It shows the quality and disquality of a noun. Okay, like Aaron has a blonde hair. यहाँ देखें, you are so smart is the correct answer because the blonde describes Aaron's hair. Great work. Okay, वो आपको बल्कि अप्रिशिएट कर रहे हैं. मैंने इसलिए आपको बताया कि blonde जो है that is the characteristics. Now you understand what adjective is. Okay, verb. A verb is an action of the sentence. It shows that someone or something is doing. Okay, when you're performing or doing any action, this is called the verb. When you are sleeping, swimming, driving, riding, okay, performing any activity, any task in your life, when you're performing any action, this is called a verb. A verb is the action of the sentence. What is the subject doing? In the example, how? Find the verb. Aaron is running the 5K. ठीक है, running क्या है जी? यहाँ पर आपके पास verb है. And what Aaron is? Aaron is a noun. Okay. So, अच्छा जी, मैं यहाँ पर नहीं पर. Okay. Now, what are the adverbs? An adverb describes how the action is performed. Now, अब आपके पास वो बता रहा है कि adverb क्या है जी? Now we have read in adjectives. It shows the quality and disquality of a noun. We have read about the nouns. ठीक है, proper nouns and the common nouns. One thing I missed out, that is your abstract and your concrete noun. I think मैंने आपको वो नहीं बताया. ये फेरी वाला जरा चला जाए. It's a big session for 2 hours consecutively. You have to speak. All right. I was saying there's the abstract noun and the concrete noun. I've skipped that portion because slides में वो नहीं था. Abstract noun क्या है आपके पास? जो आप imagine करें, ठीक है, जिसको आप touch ना कर पाए. Like you can say the flowers were having क्या कह सकते हैं यहाँ पर आप concrete में. Okay, I'll give you example at the end. Okay. So far we have read about the noun, the pronouns. Then comes your adjective, which shows the quality and disquality of a noun. Then comes your verb, जहाँ पर action perform करती हैं. Then comes your adverb. ठीक है, adverb क्या है जी आपके पास? An adverb describes how the action is performed. अब आप now the way you are performing the action, that is an adverb. They tell how much, how often, when and where something is done. Like the fish jumped quickly from the fish jumped quickly from the water. अब उसमें ये बताया कि उसने quickly जो है, that is your adverb. Okay, like आप you can say to meet my specific deadlines. Okay, I completed my task quickly. Okay, तो यहाँ पर क्विकली आपके पास क्या आ रहा है, लाइक द वे यू आर परफॉर्मिंग द एक्शन, या ही वाज राइडिंग द कार वाइल्डली, ठीक है, जस्ट टू रीच द ऑफिस। ओके, अब यहाँ पर आप क्या करें, आप गाड़ी तेज चला रहे हैं, दिस इज कॉल्ड योर एडवर्ब. So when the action is performed, this is the verb, and when the way you are performing that specific action, that is called an adverb. Okay. Adverb. An adverb describes how the action is performed. They tell how much, how often, and when or where something is done. You've done that. Okay. Another important part of speech, that is your conjunctions. If you have a pen or anything with you, मैं इसमें स्लाइड्स में नहीं, मैं आपको वैसे इसमें बताती हूँ. इसका एक फॉर्मूला होता है फैन बॉयज. आप इसको लिखें वर्टिकल कंडीशन में, FANBOYS, ठीक है, इकट्ठा नहीं लिखना. FO for, A for and, N for nor, B for but, O for or, O for or, ठीक है, Y for yet, and S for so. These are all your conjunctions. ठीक है, जब आप इसको वर्टिकली या एक पेज पर लिख लें कहीं पर भी, तो ये क्या बन जाएगा, वर्ड फैन बॉयज. F for, A for and, N for nor, B for but, O for or, Y for yet, and S for so. So these all are the simple small words which we have learned that these are called morpheme. They are used to build or to join the two sentences together. When we just try to interlink, or when we are just try to, you can say, they connect the two different concepts, okay, or the two similar concepts, okay, when you are in state of progression from one concept toward another one, either it is going to be written in the same context or in the different one. So in order to build the linkage between two different or the similar concepts, you use conjunctions. Okay, and I have given you what conjunctions are. ठीक है, फैन बॉयज का फॉर्मूला है, इसको याद रखिएगा. So a conjunction is a word that joins the word or words grouped together. Some examples conjunctions are and, but, or, nor, although, yet, so, either, and also. Right? These are also forms of additional conjunctions they have shared over here. Although भी आपके पास, ठीक है, and भी आप यूज कर सकते हैं, although भी यूज कर सकते हैं, and for nor है आपके पास, and भी है, B for but है, or है, nor है, ठीक है, E से आपके पास either है, yet and so. So the basic objective of the conjunction is, it is a you can say these are linkers, ठीक है, to join the group of words or the words together. A conjunction is a word that joins a word or word groups together. Some examples of conjunctions are, ये भी हमने पढ़नी है. Okay, now prepositions, a very difficult task for the students, right? They don't understand in, it, beside, under, beneath, okay, adjacent to, ठीक है, to, into, over, over, right? Over, under, sorry, not over, ठीक है. So all these are the prepositions. A preposition is a word that shows position or direction. Some examples are in, out, under, over, after, out, into, up, down, for, and between. Depending upon किस चीज के अंदर है, इनसाइड है तो इन कहेंगे, बाहर वाली साइड पे है तो आउट है, ठीक है. Then comes your if it is down somewhere, under कहेंगे, ठीक है. So if it is between, you know where to use between. ये सब छोटे बच्चों वाली बातें, वो तो नहीं मैं आपको बता सकती. You are माशाल्लाह से, you all are the master students, so you have a very clear perception in your mind where to all of these specific prepositions, right? Now, what are interjections? An interjection is a word that shows strong emotion. Such examples are wow, ouch, hooray, ठीक है, ये interjections हैं. So interjections can really liven up a sentence, they help to add voice to your writing. Obviously, when you say wow, it shows either it depicts your tone. It also sometimes, the language में expression के लिए, when you say wow, when you say a big wow, sometimes it is going to be in an appreciable way, sometimes saying wow, ठीक है, in other way that is going to be having your mild satirical tone, किसी को आप तंजी अंदाज में भी कहते हैं, that goes with the wow, right? Some ouch, you know that when you are hurt or having a pain, so you utter some sort of these sounds. Superb, when something which is commendable, something which is appreciable, something which is going to be acknowledged, something which is praiseworthy, so use the word superb. Okay, sometimes you say eureka, EUREK, जिसे आप कहते हैं ना हुर्रे, ठीक है, उसकी जगह एक मोर रिफाइंड जो स्पेनिश वर्ड है, ठीक है, बल्कि इंग्लिश में यूज होता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड यूरेका, ठीक है, वी हैव वन द मैच. ओके, so all these interjections, they play a very imperative role in expressing the language. Okay, in expressing your emotions, how you're going to feel about it. Okay, by using these interjections, it helps to enhance your language abilities and your skills. Now look at this example over here. Interjections can really liven up a sentence. Liven up a sentence means that they can add energy into your sentence. Like you say, they help to add voice to your writing. Obviously, living up means, okay, if you don't add interjections over here, you won't be able to help express your feelings. Like, check out this example. Like the woo. Okay, I'm so glad to have passed my exam. Okay, woo here means it's something which is not being excited, nor you are going to be saddened over something. So it means that it gives you a feeling which is very much astonishing for you, something which is you were not expecting, something which is surprising for a nerve taking for you, but suddenly you just get out of that particular flux. Okay, जो फ्लक्स था आपका, वो फ्लक्स था आपका, उसमें से आप निकल गई हैं, you suddenly come out of that particular situation, right? So I'm so glad to have passed my exam. The word few, okay, yeah, इसे who कह रहे हैं, shows that I'm relieved about passing my exam. Okay, it means that it was a very nerve-taking job when you are going through your preparation of the exams, and suddenly by using this expression, it means that now you're done with it. Finally, you have achieved something. Okay. Oops, the word job is a noun. Again, you know that where to use the oops. I don't need to dig myself into details. Okay, हुर्रे मैंने बताया था आपको, यूरिका भी बताया, EUREK, नोट डाउन कर लीजिएगा. What am I? Okay, अब मैं आपको एक क्वेश्चन और करा देती हूँ. आपकी बुक यहाँ पर है मेरे पास डिस्प्ले में हुई हुई. Any questions, girls and boys? I'm just giving you 2 minutes so that we can proceed to the next one. Give me a break of a few minutes, please. Let me check out the new topic for it, because we already left with 20 more minutes to go. I am better. I'm going to proceed. Wait. मुझे जरा अपनी आपकी बुक ढूंढने दें. आप लोगों के पास है? Wait. It's going to be WhatsApp.com. जी मैं आपकी बुक आपके साथ शेयर करने लगी हूँ. I have opened my WhatsApp. That's why I've just stopped sharing the screen with you guys. So meanwhile ये अजान ओवर हो जाए, मैं आपके साथ ये आपको एक क्वेश्चन और करा देती हूँ. Copy the link and link and here you go. जी ये आपकी बुक है, राइट? If you could please open this link, okay, the book. Better language communication paper, it's so easy, okay? There's nothing gonna, you can say कि difficult in it. उसमें सिंपल आपको पूछेगा लैंग्वेज की स्किल्स क्या है, कम्युनिकेशन एबिलिटी क्या है, ठीक है, सिंपल सिंपल जो उसमें बातें यू हैव टू राइट डाउन ओवर देयर. They, you know, it's going to be some sort of a creative paper, right? So, and I think obviously when you are at the master's level, and when you are just going to deal with an English and with the communication skills, there's not going to be a big deal for you. मैं ये बुक ओपन करने लगी हूँ आपके लिए. I'm going to share the screen over here with you guys now. तो आपको बता भी देती हूँ हमने कौन कौन से क्वेश्चंस कर लिए हुए हैं अभी इन दिस सेशन. Okay, look at the screen now. I guess it's gonna be visible to you. Is it visible, boys and girls? All right, okay. Please have a look over here. This is language as communication, okay? And this is, it was your unit number 1. That is language and communication. Because you asked me just to go chapter wise. So इसमें आपके जितने content थे, that is number 1 is non-communicative and use of language. We have discussed it, that what is the importance of a sign language and of the language, sorry, and of the linguistic communication. Okay, साथ उसने आपको differences बताई हैं कि differences क्या होते हैं जी आपके, like sign language में क्या होता है और उसमें ये देखें 2.2 देखें differences between linguistics and non-linguistic communication. Like as language may not always be used to communicate, so all communication may be possible without necessarily using spoken language. For example, what we have discussed in the PPT slides, the difference between the non your क्या कहते हैं sign language and your जिसे आप non communication कह रहे हैं, non linguistics कह रहे हैं, और जब sign language यूज करेंगे तो वो आपके पास linguistics आ गया. ठीक है, I'm just trying to avoid the repetition of all those concepts. ठीक है, I'm just trying to share with you कि हमने different PPT slides में we have already clarified all these concepts. So number 2.3 देखें, the aspects and the components of linguistic communication. ये मैंने अभी आपको पढ़ाई है कि who are the participants, who are the speakers, ठीक है, sorry, who is the speaker and who is the listener. Okay, जिसे मैंने बताया कि who is your target audience, right? Then the channel and the media of communication. We have extensive discussion on the medium. Okay, और उसमें तो उसने बड़ी ट्रिवियल सी बातें कही हैं, मैंने आपको बताई थी कि मीडियम में क्या है, वो जो स्लाइड्स हैं उसमें सारा बताया था कि आपके पास एब्स्ट्रैक्ट है और जो स्पीच है और रिटन है, आपके पास सारा एक्सप्रेशन वो भी होता है. Then channel the media of communication with the different ways of communication, like you can communicate either through the social media. When you are speaking, you have speech skills. Okay, so these all are the channel the medium of communication. Then setting in the topic of communication, बात करने की टॉपिक क्या है, ठीक है, वो जो मैंने आपको बताया there should be persuasive language है. When you are dealing with different type of people, you have to use different tones. Okay, like they should be persuasive. Sometimes you get polite, sometimes you get aggressive and harsh. So it all depends upon different situation you are dealing with and with whom too you are addressing your issue or the problem. Message क्या है जी आपका, फिर time क्या है, time it all goes in a situation. Then the status of the participant, जो मैंने कहा जिससे आपको सारा relationship क्या है, वो बात सारी वही है. Then what is the code, ठीक है, Code means the language in which communication takes place. Language is an arbitrarily chosen set of sound symbols used by the speech community to communicate. For example, the word man has been used by the English-speaking people for male human beings with certain characteristics. Wherever used, this word will represent a male human being having those characteristics. Certain societies are monolingual, speak one language, but they're bilingual as well. Multilingual societies such as Pakistani or Indian. ये सारी कोड है, ये आप साफ सिंपल बातें हैं. मेरा ख्याल जो हम लोगों ने काफी इससे ज्यादा एडवांस लेवल पे वी हैव स्टडीड इन ऑल योर पीपीटी स्लाइड्स. Then what is the use of linguistic communication? It is number one is to express the feelings, to express ideas or thoughts, to socialize, to instruct, to give received directions, perform different linguistic functions. Okay, नीचे उसने एक एक लाइन में आपको बताया हुआ है. And I think you are mature enough just to express all these points in your own language. Then language and its context. इसके context में क्या जी? मैंने आपको बताया था there is a different in the sorry, there is the cohesion and the coherence. I told you what the coherence is about and what the cohesion is about. That is another. Okay. Then what is the different speech styles क्या आपकी जी? Different styles क्या होते हैं? Formal style है, informal style है. Then frozen, conservative है. Children should not be brought. Would you mind it not bringing the children? ठीक है. ये frozen है और ये आपके पास consultative है. ठीक है. Then comes your casual style, then intimate and the frank. Then what is intonations? आपके पास क्या है जी? Intonations क्या होती हैं? जैसे अभी हमने वो पढ़ी थी वहां पर different आपके पास expressions होती हैं, उसको आप intonations कह सकते हैं. Like ये सारा इसी में आ जाता है. ठीक है. ये कोई इसमें डिफिकल्टी वाली बात नहीं है. ठीक है. So you're done with the chapter number 1. Then you done number 2 and 3. These are the fundamentals of your grammar. ठीक है. इसमें आपके पास आ गया what is grammar. अब वो ग्रामर पूछेगा जी ग्रामर क्या है. If you want me just to go with what is grammar, I can teach you what is grammar. Semantics मैंने आपको ऑलरेडी पढ़ाया है. अभी बताया था कि the study of understanding the meaning of the words, that is called semantics, and overall understanding the both literal and the contextual meaning of the language. This is called all. It comes up with the semantics. हमने इसे एडवांस लेवल पढ़ा जिसमें हमारे पास था जी कि जो आपके पास morphology क्या है. We started with the phonology, then comes your morphology, then comes your क्या थी आपके पास जी your semantics, right? वो जो 4 slides में मैंने आपको 4 उसकी traits बताई थी. ठीक है. ये सारा आपको वो बता रहा है. Okay. तो है वही content. So when you're in the master's level, you can write down the content you own. आपको topic पता होना चाहिए सिर्फ. Then we have discussed about the parts of the speech. That is your noun. Then comes your pronoun. अच्छा यहाँ पर ये थोड़ा सा pronoun ज्यादा उसने elaborate किया है. मैं अभी आपको पढ़ के बता देती हूँ. और pronoun is used in a place of noun. Thus a pronoun refers to a person, places, things or ideas without renaming them. ठीक है. Sorry, without renaming them. I'm not using my glasses, that's why sometime I just made a mistake. So there are 7 important kinds of pronouns. Personal है, demonstrative है, reflexive, intensive, interrogative. ठीक है. अच्छा ये word है यहाँ पर interrogative. ठीक है. जो हम लोगों ने पढ़ा था पुरानी अंग्रेजी में. ठीक है. But in your you can say the modern English, we always pronounce this word as interrogative. ठीक है. Interrogative कोई नहीं कहता. Then is comes your relative and indefinite. Personal pronouns क्या है जी. Demonstrative pronouns क्या है जी. It points out the individual or the group of that is being referred to. ठीक है. एक होगा बंदा तो I यूज कर लेंगे. Group of people होगा तो वो ही कर देंगे या they कह देंगे. Reflexive pronouns क्या है जी. यहाँ पर जो self लगाते हैं जैसे we है जी आपके पास suffixes और prefixes है. Prefix कहते हैं जो पहले लगता है. Suffix कहते हैं जो बाद में आता है. Like you can say post mortem. ठीक है. ये सिंपल एक वर्ड है. इसमें post mortem, sorry, this is a compound word, sorry, ये एग्जांपल नहीं है. Like you can say के अभी आपको बताती हूँ इसकी एग्जांपल. So यहाँ पर like insufficient, incompetent. ठीक है. Competent is a basic word. Incompetent mean जो in लग गया वहां पर वो prefix है. ठीक है. जो पहले लगता है वो prefix कहते हैं. जो बाद में word आता है उसे suffixes कहते हैं. तो reflexive pronouns are formed with the suffixes self or selves. ठीक है. Like आपके पास we है तो और लगाएंगे, or है तो or selves, right? He hurt himself. I myself invited the trouble. ठीक है. या भी करेंगे we ourselves invited, we ourselves, he himself, she herself. ठीक है. They themselves. Okay. So Then comes your intensive pronouns. These are the same words as the reflexive pronouns, but they draw special attention to a person or a thing mentioned in the sentence. Shakespeare himself could not have said it better. Okay? अब शेक्सपियर हिमसेल्फ, आई माई सेल्फ लगा देंगे, ठीक है, ही हिमसेल्फ, ठीक है, तो इसे हम क्या कहेंगे, इंटेंसिव प्रोनाउंस हैं वो जो आप डेली बेसिस में अपने यूज करते हैं. जो आपके पास इंटरोगेटिव प्रोनाउंस हैं, दे आर यूज फॉर इंटरोगेशन, ठीक है, जस्ट टू इंक्वायर अबाउट समथिंग, when you're questioning about something, so you can use this interrogative pronouns like which, what, when. You can go with the 5 W's, ठीक है, what, when, where, ठीक है, or your 5 with who, whom, all these are the 5 W's. Okay, then comes your relative pronouns. Introduce adjective clauses which modify nouns and the pronouns what, who, whom, whose, which, you know that. Then comes your verb. Action verbs होते हैं, linking verbs हैं, ठीक है. Action verbs, you know that. What are the adjectives? I told you, which show the quality and disquality of a noun. These are the adjectives. Then comes your adverb. How the action is being performed, when it is going to be performed, where, how often, to what extent. Okay, it all counts in the category of your adverbs, and they have given you the few examples over here as well. Then comes your preposition. A preposition is a word that expresses a relationship between a noun or a pronoun and another word in the sentence. The following list contains the prepositions that are used most frequently. I told you between, beyond, despite. Consist of more than one word. Frequently used compound prepositions are according to, aside from. These are your compound prepositions. Then what are your adverbs? I told you adverbs क्या आपके पास, ठीक है. Then comes your conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions क्या, मैंने आपको fan voice का formula बताया था, FANBOYS, उसको लगाकर आप उसमें देख सकते हैं कि these are your conjunctions, right? These are the coordinating conjunctions. Okay. अच्छा जी, फिर आपके पास इंटरजेक्शंस आ जाती हैं जिसमें आप डिफरेंट एक्सप्रेशंस को यूज करते हैं. लाइक लास्ट का बताइए आपको जी, इट मींस सैड, ऊप्स, जो भी वर्ड्स आर, इज इट, आई डोंट नो, क्यों नहीं दे रही, ट्रिवियल एग्जांपल यहां पर दिए हैं. ओके, then comes your grammatical units of your English. I told you what are the morpheme and what are the words. यहाँ भी है ऐसे मैंने बता दिया आपको. पार्ट्स ऑफ स्पीच में सेंटेंस होता है, क्लॉज होता है, ग्रुप और फ्रेज है, वर्ड और मॉर्फीम है, ठीक है. सबसे पहले हम स्टार्ट क्या करते हैं, मॉर्फीम से, ठीक है. इसको आप इस ऑर्डर में देखें, अपसाइड डाउन जो है ना, ये फ्रॉम डाउन टू अपसाइड हम जाएंगे, ठीक है. अपसाइड डाउन का जो लेवल है उससे देखेंगे. मॉर्फीम, मॉर्फीम में जो दो छोटे वर्ड कोई भी हैं वो इकट्ठा होकर जब when they join together they form a word. So when two small units they join together they form a word. So the small units are called morpheme. They joining forming the word, and when the group words they join together they form a sentence, or they form a phrase, ठीक है, or they form the group words, ठीक है, or you can say they can form the compound words. Okay, and when the phrases join together they make a clause, ठीक है. Clause, now the question will arise in your mind कि जब ग्रुप जो वर्ड्स इकट्ठे जुड़ गए तो फिर क्लॉज बन गई या सेंटेंस बन गया तो एक हो गया, तो फिर मैडम आप सेंटेंस और क्लॉज में डिफरेंस क्या है, ठीक है. दैट क्वेश्चन might be popping up into your mind. So difference between a clause and sentence is that, okay, the sentence which communicates the idea appropriately, this is called a sentence, ठीक है. जिसमें आइडिया प्रॉपर कम्युनिकेट नहीं हो रहा, लाइक डिफरेंट. मैं आपको यहाँ पे एक बताती हूँ. क्लॉज कंसिस्ट ऑफ, ओके, लाइक मैं मुझे पढ़ती हूँ. The clause, हाँ जी, the clause, okay, like यहाँ से हम पढ़ते हैं, the words consist of morpheme, ठीक है. consist of morpheme को आपने पढ़ लिया, ये भी आपके पास छोटा सा सेंटेंस है, ठीक है. consist of morpheme, morphemes, ठीक है. does it communicate an idea proper? No, ठीक है. अब मैं ये कहूँ the words consist of morpheme, this is called appropriate sentence, ठीक है. So this is the difference between a clause and your सेंटेंस, ठीक है. तो मॉर्फिन बताया, वर्ड बताया आपको जी. देन कम्स योर ये ग्रुप है, फ्रेज है. इसमें उन्होंने आपको पूछना नहीं है, ठीक है, कि आप ये बताएं जी ग्रुप क्या होता है, नाम क्या होता है, फलां क्या होता है, ठीक है। आई डोंट नो अब आपके असाइनमेंट के क्वेश्चन क्या है। इफ यू आर अवेलेबल विद योर असाइनमेंट्स तो आप मुझे क्वेश्चन बता दें, मे बी I can help manage my lecture accordingly. Otherwise, I would say कि you go with a thorough reading of everything. ठीक है, ये कंपाउंड सेंटेंसेस आ गए। देन व्हाट आर द मैकेनिक्स ऑफ ग्रामर। कैपिटलाइजेशन क्या है जी, ये मैं आपको कल करा दूंगी कि जो मैकेनिक्स ऑफ ग्रामर है इसमें वो जो पीरियड्स आते हैं इट मींस योर फुल स्टॉप, फिर पंक्चुएशन कैसे करते हैं सेंटेंसेस को, कैपिटलाइजेशन क्या है, ठीक है, ये मैं आपको सारा ये कल करा दूंगी, राइट। So I'm done with the session, boys and girls. So tell me any problem till yet. You can ask the question. Your 3 minutes are left in the ending of the session. Three minutes are left. If you come up with any queries, do ask me quickly. All clear, ma'am? All right. Okay, yet. ठीक है जी, अभी तक क्लियर है। That's good. मोहतशाम, क्या नाम है ये जी? मोहम्मद मोहतशिम। मोहतशिम। What does it means? Very unique name. You don't like to respond? That's all right. It means magnificent. Shandar. Wow. It's Turkish name. All right. Okay. Beautiful name. Now please go through this क्या कहती हैं, this guidebook, okay, for the next chapter, and do please share your assignment question with me also, so that I can have a look over there and do prepare yourself accordingly. All right, ठीक है, ये देख लीजिए अभी आप लोग। Kulsum is there. She was the one. She was responding throughout. She was promptly. She was responding, and Mr. Junaid also. See you tomorrow. All right, definitely. Motashim. We will. All right, Visma. And please do share the feedback at the end of your session. If there is any ambiguity you still didn't clear, you can ask. I'll just try to help resolve your issues. And I just wish you good luck for your exams. Since when they're going to be executed? Junaid Yusuf. Thank you, Bite. Thank you for your wonderful response. Amir, all clear. All right. Thank you. I was asking you when your exams are going to be conducted. गर्ल्स की आप लोगों ने व्हाट्सएप बनाया है, ये तो आप लोगों को बनाना चाहिए भाई। थैंक यू अरूसा। Rusa is also beautiful name. With how many people I am interacting right now? कितने बच्चे हैं क्लास में? Any idea? कहाँ से लिखे होते हैं भाई? 34. अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा। Ma'am, you are so sweet. All right, thank you very much, Manas. It's a wonderful compliment for me. 34 students, right? वैसे इन्होंने ये सेशन का टाइम लिखा हुआ है, इसमें ये मगरिब की अजान का टाइम है, and we have to go non-stop, can't even offer prayer. Voice, yes, today bete there was a voice issue today. Myself, you can end the session. All right, I'm going to get log of boys and girls. I was just holding your responses that maybe we just want to talk about something. If there's nothing to be discussed or left out to be discussion about, I'm just going to log off again. Or I'm just going to log off then. What about quiz, ma'am? What sort of quiz you're talking about, Junaid? Nobody reply me. Menas. Yes, the classmates, please do reply, Miss Mehnaz. She is asking about something. I think she was just asking about your WhatsApp group, creation to WhatsApp group. Please do respond back to her. कल रिपीट कर दी ना, आज की लेक्चर कल रिपीट कर दें बेटा, बड़ा आसान था ये. ओके, आई विल जस्ट ट्राई टू मैनेज इट. ठीक है.